How to end people pleasing. Still in the works. Charot. Even as an extrovert, I do still feel left out sometimes. What if wala kang passion, hindi mo pa alam, you haven't figured it out? You can follow your curiosity. A big misconception about me is that I am Hey guys, it's your girl Ayin. Welcome back to another episode of Mic Drop, but we're doing a little solo session today because, well, we have time. And also, I want to yapathon. But I did ask for questions last year. So last year, when I turned 30, I asked you guys if you have questions about the 20s. And today, I'm going to be answering as many as I can. So let's start with a question from Ella. She asks, what life lesson did you learn that others may apply as a hack in their early 20s? Send as many hindi pinag-isipan messages as you want. What do I mean by that? A lot of my opportunities in my early 20s, I sent at 2 a.m. because hindi ako makatulog and I felt like it was calling me. For example, the very first article that I published was an article on Rappler, and it was an opinion piece on colorism. And this was something that I wrote in the middle of the night because hindi ako makatulog. And then I just decided that I wish somebody could read this. I wish somebody could publish this. And then I just decided to Google Rappler, opinion piece, editor. And then I found an email. I sent it immediately. And I think it's such a life hack when you don't overthink these opportunities because there are so many things that can happen for you. Actually, like another comment that I get in these videos is who is your editor and sino nag-edit na videos mo or like paano ba ina-edit yung videos mo, what app do you use? It's a person, okay? It's Japet. And Japet also messaged me one day asking about how he can work with me in Camp Confidence, and it happened. And I think it's such a life hack because when you don't overthink these things and going after what you want and these opportunities, a lot of things open for you. And I'm really grateful now when I was in my early 20s kung ano na lang ginagawa ko and kung kani-kanino lang ako nag-hi, hello, nag-email, and yun talaga yung nag-change ng buhay ko. And I think it's something that you should do. Of course, medyo pag-isipan, pero don't overthink it. Okay, next question. In your 20s, you don't need to figure it all out. But how do you really start? Something that I picked up from, I believe, Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert. It's to follow your curiosity. So we hear a lot about following your heart, following your passion. Pero what if wala kang passion, hindi mo pa alam, you haven't figured it out? You can follow your curiosity. So if there's something that you see online that you think is interesting, don't overthink it. Try it out. If you try it out and it doesn't work, you can move on to the next one. You can follow your curiosity to the next thing. That applies to a lot of things, not just your passion, but also your career, your studies. If you allow yourself to follow your curiosity, kung ano yung nagbibigay sa'yo ng questions, it allows you to explore things that you never would have done, possibly. An example is pageantry for me. Oh my gosh. I never had the chance to really be passionate about it because I never got to do it. I never got to train for it. But when the opportunity presented itself in front of me, why not go for it, right? And it's something that you can do as well. Other curiosities that I'm glad I pursued, marathon training, something I'm still figuring out. Hindi ko alam kung magagawa ko yun, but I'm here, I'm learning. If it doesn't work out for me, I can just move on to the next one. Speaking of moving on to the next one, let's move on to the next question. From Hanjin, how did you start your career after graduation? Okay, so let me walk you through how I started my career because currently I am a content creator and I am a host. But at the beginning, so internships muna. Before my first job, I had my internships because bibo kid, takot ako na mawalan ako ng trabaho or like gumraduate ako tas wala akong makuhang trabaho. So I did a lot of internships. The first one was an editorial internship. So I worked at a travel magazine and then I did a parenting magazine. Sobrang random ng parenting magazine. But it was an opportunity that I found. And then I also did an internship at a digital marketing agency. And then I had a part-time job at Red Bull. Parang marketing arm nila. I was called a Wings team member. So what we did, we would go to events and we would give out Red Bull and talk about the product. And that really helped my confidence, how I talked to people, how I connected with people. It really helped. And then after noon, I landed my first job, which was offered to me because of my digital marketing internship. I was a copywriter. How I started in my career was really because I reached out to all of these different, as in cold emailing, wala akong kakilala, wala akong connections. But I found the contact numbers, the email of like the HR people, the hiring people, and I just found these opportunities and I applied to as many as possible and I showed up to as many as I could. And by the time na I was ready to take a job, it was there waiting for me. I think it's all about putting yourself in a position where opportunities can find you. So if you don't have connections, find them and make sure na nag-aabang kayo online. No, you're doom scrolling anyway. Might as well be doom scrolling for your opportunities as well. Next question from Anna. What is the best investment you've made? The best investment I've ever made. Siguro skills-wise, I'm really, really glad that I learned how to edit videos because that's how everything started for me. In terms of the platform and learning how to piece videos together, to create a story, to be able to upload on YouTube, this really kickstarted everything for me. And it was investing in myself, investing in skills that I can actually use in the real world. Kasi even if hindi ako naging content creator, I still used my video editing skills do sa mga racket ko when I was younger. Ginagamit ko siya for so many things. Like, I remember there was one time I was working in Spain as a teacher and another teacher at her school, merong bar mitzvah yung anak niya, and she needed somebody to put an AVP together. And she was like, you're an editor, you can make a video. And then I made extra money from it. It was just that skill that helped me get to so many things because hindi ko magagawa yung cam confidence if hindi ako natuto mag-video edit. Hindi ako makapag-TikTok kung hindi ako nag-video edit. So my biggest investment was really learning the skills that I needed to create the career that I wanted. Next one, from Mika. What matters during your 20s? Dreams or realistic goals? I know sometimes it feels like we have to choose between dreams versus goals, but I think there's a way that you could pursue both without necessarily sacrificing the other. Because for me, it was really a slow growth. I don't advocate for quitting your full-time job so you can pursue your passion. I think there's a safe way to do it. You can slowly get to your goal while also living in reality. How I did that for myself, at least, was to slowly pivot my life to look like the dream life that I wanted. Let me give you an example. I used to work a 9-to-5 job as a digital marketing copywriter. I was a copywriter at an agency and it was a job na punong-puno ako, hindi ako makagawa ng kahit ano. And my dream was to create videos for a living. So it wasn't realistic for me because hindi ako nagkakaroon ng oras, ng energy to create my own things, my own endeavors. So what I did was I found a job that allowed me to work less hours but make more money and at the same time create content. So that's why I moved to Spain to teach English. Because sabi ko, I want to be a content creator. I looked far and wide before I found this job, but I got a job na teacher ako sa public school in Spain. I worked 16 hours a week, only 4 days a week. Konti lang yun compared to my old job here in Manila. I got paid enough. It wasn't a lot, but it was enough for me to live in Madrid, which was such an interesting city. It allowed me to make videos every single day. I would vlog my life kahit konti lang yung nanonood. And that was like a stepping stone for me to slowly build my dream. It takes a lot of work, but you can slowly look at elements of your life and pieces where you can maybe alter things a little bit. It won't be overnight for sure. It will take some time. But I think there is a way to be realistic, but at the same time, still optimistic about your goals. Next question. Ooh, I like this question. This is from Go Silly. Sabi niya, does it really get better? And I have to say, it really does get better. I'm in my 30s now, and I guess when I was younger, I thought that my 30s was gonna be like this boring time or maybe more responsibilities, which for sure is gonna come. And I do have more responsibilities. But at the same time, I'm really, really glad that I put in the work earlier in my life. Yung time na hustle ako ng hustle in my early 20s, I bought the time and the energy and the space for me to live my life better now. And I'm so grateful na rumakit talaga si ate girl when I was in my early 20s, because now I feel like it really is better. I have the freedom to make choices that I didn't have before. And it's gonna come. If you put in the work, the hours, and you trust in the process, it will get you there. This question is more about friendship. What do you do when you feel left out? Okay, medyo extrovert kasi ako. But even as an extrovert, I do still feel left out sometimes. And it happens, especially when you're in big crowds or you're in a situation na hindi mo usually pinupuntahan, or like you're the stranger, you're the new person in the group. Sometimes it's nice to remember that people don't care about us that much. And when I remember that people don't really care about me, I get less self-conscious, and I realize that people don't really think about me that much, which is actually quite freeing. So I'm allowed to be more curious about other people. I can ask them questions. I can initiate conversations because, people are sometimes busy thinking about themselves. So when I feel left out, usually it's because I feel like I don't belong somewhere, or it's because I feel like mas magkaka-jive sila. But then at the end of the day, does it really matter? It all goes back to knowing na no one's better than you. You're better than no one. And tao lang kayong lahat. Making an effort to make connections is really important, and it's such a nice skill to have. And it's a skill that you can continue to hone. So if you're not good at that yet, making friends, you can get better at it. Ask better questions, listen, and you'll see that things will just evolve naturally. From Isa, how to end people pleasing. Still in the works. Charot. I'm still working on it a little bit. It's definitely hard to stop trying to please everybody, especially if you're somebody who, number one, depends on validation or who needs affirmation, especially from your loved ones, right? But it's really important to understand that your life is your life. And taking ownership of your life means that you have to make decisions for yourself. And when you make decisions for yourself, and when you stop looking to literally everybody for validation, it just gets easier to live. Life just gets so much more fulfilling that way. Because I learned the hard way that it's nearly impossible to please everybody. Just impossible talaga. And if you're always thinking of other people and how they're gonna react, how they're gonna think, hindi ka talaga magiging masaya. It's just not a fulfilling way to live at the end of the day. You need to know your values, what's important to you, and the very few people that you need to care about. And even then, at the end of the day, ikaw rin yung may desisyon, and it is your life. Next question from Bea. How do you effectively and practically build your daily routines? Oh my gosh. A big misconception about me is that I am a big routine girl, and I am, but it's not like the daily routine type. I'm a routine girl in terms of like my systems, my work, how I do things digitally, my planner, my calendar. Pero in terms of like cleaning my house, ganyan, that's something that I'm really struggling with. And what I am currently learning, and I'd like to share with you, is that it's really nice to stack habits. By stacking habits, I mean connecting your new habits to current habits that you already have. But more than that, it's also changing the way that you think about yourself, because it's hard to be someone you're not. Like, for example, being organized. Oh my gosh. Ang hirap niya talaga for me, especially with my space, my house. But once I started changing the narrative about myself and thinking na, oh, I'm such a mess messy person. I'm such a messy person. Once I stopped telling myself that, I started embodying better habits na are more natural. Instead of like forcing it, I feel like it became more natural when I just, this is just something that I do now. When I've decided that this is just who I am now. I'm an organized person. And I think everything else followed. So now I have routines that I didn't even plan to have. It just made sense because it was natural. And I think the most effective routines are the most natural to you. Next question. Orbit Rider. Sabi niya, do you care less about people's judgment when you get older? Should I be unbothered? I would say unbothered is not the word for me because I definitely still get bothered a lot. I still care about a lot of things and people's opinions, of course. I still do that. But I'm definitely more selective about whose opinion I care about because I can't care about everybody's opinion. It's impossible. It's hard. It's hard to do. It's impossible to do. So I just stopped trying. Being more selective about the opinions that I care about really, really has changed my life because now I am at peace when people disagree with me sometimes. I can live with that. Like, if I see a comment of people disagreeing with me, I can be like, you know what? Fair. And then I could just leave it. Because before I had to defend myself and feel like I have to correct other people's opinion of me or, come to a conclusion na lahat tayo masaya. But it doesn't have to be that way. You can be selective. Not necessarily unbothered, but selective. Next question. From Narian. Hi, Ate Ayin. How did your priorities change over the years? I would say in my early 20s and my 20s in general, I was definitely very goal-oriented. I was very focused on what I wanted to achieve. But now I care more about the process, being present in the moment. So before, it was all about, okay, what are we gonna do by the end of this year, by the end of this life, by the end of the 10 years, what are we gonna do? What are we gonna achieve by the time we reach 30? But now, am I happy right now? Am I healthy right now? Is this sustainable for me right now? And I think what's more important for me in the moment is how things are going. Like, am I happy with my relationships? Do I have better connections? Do I have good relationships? And it's definitely something that's not focused on the end goal or the results. And I'm just focusing on the feeling in the moment. And it's been freeing, to say the least, because at least now, I don't have to live in the future because that's definitely what I've been doing in the past. Mic drop. Di kin sinulat. Impromptu yun. Okay, AJ. I like this question. When did the path start getting more direct for you? Like what you wanted to do in life? I feel like in hindsight, my path is very magulo. Kasi ang dami kong side quest, ang dami kong ginawa, ang dami kong ano-ano. But then, in the moment, it felt so direct. Like, for example, when I was younger, I was like, I want to be an entrepreneur. It felt straight, It felt like, yun lang. I wanted to be an entrepreneur. But then, as I went through it, I realized that it meant so many different things. I want to be a content creator. It felt so direct. But then, iba-iba pala yung pit stops na dadaanan ko. And I would say now, it's actually quite the opposite for me. It started out direct, na I wanted something and I would just go for it. But now I've learned living my life na it really isn't that simple. And it's okay that it's not that simple. It's okay that you just go through life day by day, doing your best and taking time to figure out what you want to happen. Now I kind of rely on the feeling that I want to have instead of the achievements or the accolades that I want to have. Kasi before, gusto ko yung title, gusto ko yung ganito, ganyan. Pero ngayon, gusto ko maging free, happy. I want to have my free time back. I want to have my mornings back. That's not direct at all. It doesn't make sense sometimes. So, like, what do you mean? Like, you want your mornings back? That's not a career path. But for me, that's the joy of it. Like, being able to figure it out day by day. It was a complete opposite for me. It's not direct at all. And right now, I'm trying to see where it takes me. No idea. No idea at all. In fact, I think I have less of an idea now than I did before. Okay, another question. How to move on after losing love in your late 20s? Shocks. This happened to me. I felt like, okay, in my late 20s, you think you're gonna settle down. You're gonna settle down in your new relationship or whatever. Or parang may timeline na sinusundan because of what we hear and what we see and how we're told love is supposed to look like. But it was actually freeing for me to discover my identity again and find my hobbies and my happiness on my own again in my late 20s, because I feel like I got to enter my 30s with a renewed sense of what's really important to me. And really, the end of something is just an opportunity to start again. And I think that's a beautiful thing. Next one. From Gia, how do you navigate the pressure of feeling like you're running out of time? I feel like everything is contextual and we don't know when we're gonna die. So we never really know when we're running out of time or when we have so much time left. And it's not something that's in our control at all, ever. I think what's really important is just being grateful for even having the opportunity to live in this moment and to have what you have now. It's such a cliche, but it's what's allowed me to continue. Imagine if nagpadala ako sa pressure of feeling like I'm running out of time. Sayang naman yung time that you have. Like a really good analogy that I saw on TikTok was, if nabutasan ka ng isang gulong, bubutasan mo rin ba yung other three just because nabutas ng isa? What I got from that is, I don't want to waste the time that I do have now just because I feel like may nasayang ako. So yeah, just letting go of the pressure. I know it's easier said than done, but it's really effective. From Mix, what is something from your 20s that you think you'll continue doing in your 30s? I think I will continue to create content. Something that I was always scared of was being too old to make videos. I always thought na I needed an exit plan from being a content creator, na parang, oh, this is a career para sa bagets, or this is a career at this point na para pang Gen Z. Pero I think I'm gonna keep doing it. I really like it, and there's no reason for me to stop doing what I want just because it's not a conventional career. I think we're lucky to be living in the age of the internet na a creative can literally create whatever they want and be blessed to be making a living out of it. And that's something that I will continue doing from my 20s throughout my 30s. From Elise, what do you need to undo? Alam nyo, there's no point wanting to undo things because wala na tayong magagawa. But what I will do is to take note of the things that I've done in the past that isn't aligned with who I want to be and who I believe I am. Know that these things have happened. Take accountability for those things and make sure that they never happen again. What we do have the power to do is to use those to become a better person. And I think that's just what I'm holding on to, because guilt and shame, I mean, it's useful because it tells you what you care about and your values, but at the same time, minsan wala ka nang magagawa about it. So you just need to move forward and let it go. Do better, be better. Oh my gosh, and that's the last question. Well, thank you so much. If you listened and watched until this point, thank you for dealing with my nasal sound. I've had the Christmas flu and it's been rough going into January, but I'm glad that we still got to record it. Thank you so much for watching. By the way, this is Good Sauce Studios. And if you guys haven't subscribed yet, click the subscribe button and I'll see you guys on the next one. Let me know in the comments which lesson or which question resonated with you the most. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye! Stay confident. Stay confident.